Hello Year 10. This is my tutorial on how to make a uh, pulley-based lifting crane design. Um, I don't have one to show you. I did do one, but I closed the file for some reason. Anyway, I'm going to start with a sketch, and I'm going to pick the front plane here. Then I'm going to draw the size of our box using a construction line that we have to fit with inside. So there's our box, and we're going to dimension it now. We're doing 200 this way and 200 this way. So there is our box that we have to fit with everything with inside. Now, I'm going to make a floor, not construction lines though, and this will allow us to build everything off it. We're going to make this out of 3mm plywood. So there, 3 enter. So now we have our 3mm plywood base, and I'm going to have some big pillars in the corners just to sort of hold it in place like this. And we're going to give this a thickness of 19mm for now, like so. Now I want to draw the weight. So I'm going to draw, I'm going to draw a pillar on the other side, down like here, and give this a 19 too. So I'm dimensioning there to there, here, and click on this number. I'm using the D key on my keyboard to open the dimension tool quickly. If you like, you can click this button up here, but D for dimension is the way I find the fastest way to do this. Okay, so let's now draw out the weight. The weight is 90mm this way and 40mm this way, like so. It is quite large, but that's okay. And I want to make sure that our weight sits on a little platform. So I'm going to have a platform like this. And I want to make this sit dead centered. So I'm going to use the midpoint tool, this one here. If you can't see it there, use the constraints drop down and find the midpoint. Click here and click outline, and that will just center them. So if I drag that out, you can see that expands in size. Now I'm going to dimension our thickness here to be 5mm. So we can use some 5mm ply there. And I'm going to try and position this as far over to the side as I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dimension from this point to the edge right here as 10mm. So it's pretty close, but not super far away, right? And then we can pull this one in. So that'll be roughly where it sits. And we can dimension there to there as a distance. And we might go 5 there. So that positions it neatly in the middle. Okay, now we're going to start with this base on the ground, like here, and we're going to pull up to 100mm high. So the easiest way to see that is we're going to do a construction line that's going to go from about here all the way down to here, like so. And we are going to make sure that that goes through the center, just to make it a bit neater, like so. And we're going to go this line to be 100. Okay, so as long as our base can go from the bottom here to the top there. Oh, that midpoint's actually not the midpoint I wanted, not that one. Yeah, I want that to slide, but I don't want this one to slide. How do I do that? Dimension. Ah, I know what I can do. Get that back to where I want it, and then I can dimension from this point to that point, 60. That will line it up perfectly. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to go make sure we can go from here to here with our pulley system. Okay, now in this top position, I think it's where we're going to have the most trouble fitting things in. So I'm going to put it up the top here for now. I'm going to have our pulley that we're lifting off, not as a construction line. If you make something a construction line you don't want to be, or something you want to be a construction line that isn't, you can just click on it, highlight it, make sure it's blue, and then hit X on the keyboard, and that will flip it back. So there we go. There's our pulley there. I'm going to give this a diameter of 25mm. I'm going to bring it down so it's just underneath, and then dimension from the line to the top as just over half of 25. So 14 is great. That's just 2mm over half. So I guess it's pretty much to the top. Okay, now I want to have our rope coming down. So there is a hole in the middle of the weights. So we're going to have a little bar that comes up in the middle. like this. And we're going to make sure that this is the right thickness. I believe it's 10 mils thick, the hole, so we're going to do 10 mil. And then we need to center this again. So what we're going to use is the midpoint tool again. We're going to find the little short line first, which can be sometimes annoying to click on. I think if you click, no, you can't do that. Midpoint, you can just see it getting it sometimes. There, click there, and click on this line, and that will center them. All right, amazing. Now, we're going to go just over that 40, so 50 seems great. So we can make sure we're just the right amount over, and we can tie our rope to this by drilling a hole in this or something. Excellent. So, instead of doing multiple rope laps, I've decided that I'm going to use different winch drum sizes. So we're going to have an input winch drum and an output winch drum. The way I'm going to do this is I'm going to have a circle that's quite large, like this, and then on that, a smaller circle that's quite small, like that. So we are going to position this so that it fits. I'm going to start by dimensioning this circle to be 80, seems pretty good. And then this one to be, we'll go 12, just because I know we have 12 mil stock. And then, sort of bring this down in here, put that about there. And we're going to dimension this so it fits, right? So we're going to go from this circle to the center there, as it just has to be slightly over half of 40, slightly over the radius. So that 42 sounds perfect. 2 mils over that way. And we'll do 42 from here to here as well. All right, excellent. So there's our winch drum sort of prepped, and the rest of our body prepped. The only thing we need now is something to hold these two structures in place. So I'm just going to have a nice big board over both sides like this. And then we're going to give this a dimension from here to here, as we'll go 60. And then we'll make sure that we go the full 200 in length. So here, make that 200, like so. Okay. Now, I believe we have everything roughed out to make sure that it works. And I should be able to drag this up and down, and it shouldn't collide with anything. I don't believe it will. Amazing. Okay, so here's our sort of winch drum setup. Now, this sketch was what we call a geometry sketch. So I'm going to come into this sketch menu, find the sketch one, and I'm going to rename it. If I can, I've got to finish sketch first. And then rename this. Rename. Here we go. To geometry. Geo. Sketch. SKCH. Perfect. Oh, you can't hit enter. You got to click OK. GEOM. Yeah, click. That's okay. Amazing. Wonderful. So some of the things I'm going to be able to extrude out of here, but not all of them. And you'll see why in a second. So I'm going to start by extruding out this, and I'm going to go 200, like so. And then instead of new body, I'm going to go new component. And that's going to be our base face. Now, the sketch is going to automatically hide itself, but you can click this to re-bring it back in. Other things I would like to bring in from here are our two pillars. So I'm going to start with those two. I'm going to go this one, this one, this one, this one. Make sure you get all the pillars. Wonderful. And we're going to go 30 out that way. And instead of join, I'm going to go new component. Okay, now these things will move around. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to do a join as build and click on this piece and change slider to rigid. If it's already on rigid, don't worry. If it was on revolute or something like that, just make sure you click rigid, and that will stick those two together. Excellent. Now, the next thing I am going to do is I'm going to start some new sketches here, and I'm just going to bring some pieces of geometry out. So I'm going to hit P for project, and I'm going to select the lines of this top sort of bar, like so. What did I get that one? I did. And hit OK. And then finish sketch. Oh, sorry. I'm actually going to edit that again. So right click edit, And I'm going to make sure I bring out these circles as well, because we want some stuff based off those. P. There and there. Okay, wonderful. So I've got those two circles. Now, why I want those circles is I want to have some bolt holes for our winch drums and pulleys to run on. So I'm going to draw a smaller hole in the middle of both of them. And I'm going to dimension that hole, sorry, to be 6 millimeters. So we put a 6 mil bolt through it. Like so. Now I can finish sketch, and I'm going to extrude this face out, except for those two small holes that I just drew. And I'm going to go, we'll go 12 millimeters. We have 12 millimeter thick plywood, and change join to new component. Okay, and that's going to sit there. Now again, this is going to float around. So before you move it, let's make sure we stick in place. Join is built, this piece and this piece. Okay, and that will stop that moving. And we can wood screw those two together from the side. If you would like to be really fancy with it, you can draw in where you want to put the wood screws, and we can mark out holes for that really easily. But I'm going to pause on that for now. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new sketch on this face here. And I am going to start by making our big winch drum. So I'm going to use the P tool and project out that circle, and then hit OK, and finish sketch. What I'm going to do, actually, I'm not going to. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, after attaching that, is I'm going to make this winch drum that's going to be here. Now, I'm not going to use this part of the sketch drawing for this one. I might for this drawing, but not for the big winch drum, because that would just give us a cylinder. And we want to have some features on this cylinder that are revolved around. So we're going to use this tool here, the Revolute tool. So to do this, I'm going to use a construction here, and I'm going to choose I'm going to choose offset plane for now. I think that'll be okay. Now, our plane is based off this corner, and we had this hole a certain distance from the edge. I believe it was 42. So I'm going to click here, and I type in 42. And that should be centered on that hole. If I look from the front, that looks pretty close. I'm 95% sure that's right. And that allows us to start a sketch that is 90 degrees off the last one, but perfectly centered through this hole. So if we look, we can see how our plane seems to go through the center of that hole. Does that make sense? People can see that? Excellent. So what we're going to do is I'm going to draw I'm going to actually project out that circle just so I know where it is. Okay. So I've got that line there that I can use to draw out our line. And I'm going to do what's called a center line here. I'm going to pick the center, the midpoint of that hole, come out like so, and make sure that's horizontal. I'm going to click the horizontal vertical, and click on the line. It's already done. That's amazing. And then I am going to draw out some lines, and I'm going to start by coming off the top of this hole. So this will not touch the center line. This is designed so that we can have a hole in the middle of our part. A box like this, and we're going to give this box a dimension of 40 up. Oh, that's wrong actually. Delete that dimension. We want to go from here to the center line, just so we make sure that it's the same. And this will give us allow us to dimension the full size of it. So I'm going to go 80, so that we have our nice big winch drum barrel. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have another rectangle inside. And we're not going to extrude this bit. We're only going to get this bit out. And that will allow us to have little walls on the outside. I'm going to dimension here to here to be 8 millimeters. We don't want it to be very deep, because the deeper we make this groove, the less mechanical advantage we get. And now we're going to do our walls, and I'm going to go here to here, and I'm going to pick 4 millimeters, and then here to here, and I'm going to click on the same, so it's the same, 4 millimeters there. Wonderful. And then finally, we can do our whole thing. And I think this one does want to be fairly long, so I'm going to go 65, like so. Now, I can finish sketch there. And I can do a revolve. Click this, and it automatically revolves that around. And there would be our drum. Then hit new component. Okay. So there's our sort of input winch drum. Now I'm actually going to go back into this and I'm going to edit it because what I want to add is I want to add the um, output winch drum, and it's going to look very similar but just thinner. So I'm going to do this like this. Okay. Now this here can be our wall, so this rectangle can actually come up and go the whole way there, and then we're just going to do this distance from there to there as our 5mm again. Is that what it did? 4mm. Sorry. Click here, make it the same, just so it's pretty. And then this size is going to be 65 again, like so. And now only thing left to do is dimension from here to our center line, and we were going to have this as 12, weren't we? And then we're going to bring this in like so, and we're just going to dimension there to the top to be 2. Is that enough? That might be a bit thin. We might have to change our 12 to 15 just to make sure this bit here is thick enough. That should be okay. You know what? No, I've changed my mind. I'm going to get rid of that dimension. I'm going to do from the underside to here to be 12. And then I'm going to bring this up to be 4. Like so. That'll just make this wall higher and still give us enough thickness here that it should be okay. And then I'm going to finish sketch. Now you'll see that didn't automatically make. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into the revolve, edit that feature, and also select that part. Yeah, wonderful. So now we have our 2 winch drums, and we can put a large bolt through the center of everything there. Okay, so next things I want to do is I'm going to bring this to the other side, just so we have some stuff, so we can see sort of our full body structure. So I'm going to go construct offset plane. I'm going to pick this face. I'm going to slide out 100mm, like so. And then I create a mirror. Create mirror. Here we go. Objects to mirror. I'm going to mirror most of it. And I'm going to pick, instead of having bodies, I'm going to go components. So this component for now, and then select mirror plane, this one here, and then do OK. Now you can see that our winch drum actually doesn't fit where I've put it. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to change how this one is constructed, and I'm going to put this on the other side. So I'm going to delete this mirror component. Don't actually hit delete, just make sure you always hit remove. Delete does some strange things. Anyway, I'm going to put the plate here. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to construct the sketch here, and I'm going to copy this face. So P for project, click this face here, and that will give us all of the holes and everything in the right spot. I can finish sketch, and I can extrude this part this way, and I think we said 12mm, didn't we? So I'm going to type in -12, like so. We've got room there still. And I'm going to change cut to new component, and then click OK. Now, you can't actually have pieces inside each other like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the combine menu, hit combine, pick the target body to be these two, and pick the tool target body to be these two. You can't, oh, sorry, cut. We're going to make sure we select cut, and then you should be able to select 2 pieces. No? Alright, you can't do 1 at a time, it seems. That is okay. I'm just going to do them 1 at a time. So, I said you can't do more than 1 at a time, so I'm just going to do the 1 at a time. I thought you could. That is my fault. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make sure we click keep tool. Okay? And that will allow us to keep this piece. And we just do the same on this side. Target, tool, cut, keep tool are on, and then okay. So we've got a little recess joint for this to sit in. Alright, wonderful. And we've got enough room to fit both of them. So now all we need to do is work on our pulley. That's going to go here. So I'm going to start a new sketch. I think I'm going to come to this face here now, just so I can see it. Hit P for project. Pick that circle there. Then go OK. And then I can finish sketch, extrude that out. Now, this pulley, we might decide we're going to do a revolve sort of feature on as well. But for now, I'm not going to do that. That can be an extra challenge for some of you. And that's going to sit there. Now, I have these components that I believe will move around. So we're going to do a bunch of joints here before I forget. I'm going to go this one, and they're rigid. Okay. And then I believe this can move. Yep. So I'm going to pick the joint as built. Click this one and this one. I'm going to change that rigid to a revolute. And then click the hole that we want it to revolve around. And go OK. And let that all load in. And then join is built. This one and this one. This is also a revolve. I'm going to click that one there. So now, if I'm right, oh, this moves still. Whoops. Join is built. These pieces to this piece and change revolve to rigid. So now, if I'm right, that will spin. Excellent. And this will spin. Excellent. The last things we need to do are make the weight and the weight carrier. So I think I'm going to do those. I'm going to do the weight carrier first. And I am going to first hide that plane I just created. We don't need that anymore. And I'm going to make a plane that's kind of, you know what? I'm going to do it off that plane. I've decided to change my mind. I'm going to do a sketch here, capture position, and I'm going to project the parts from here that we want. So it's like this one, this one, this one, this one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. So now we should have all of that. Yep, that looks good. Then go OK. And I'm just going to draw a line that goes from here all the way up to the top, like so. Now, it doesn't matter that I forgot to click this side, because what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use a revolve for this feature too. I'm going to click these two profiles, and then the axis is that middle axis there, and it gives us this circular disc piece. I just realized I did not do that as a new component, but as a new body. So I'm just going to quickly, oh, and I can't change it now, of course I can't. So I'm going to come in, if you forget to do something like that, come into the bodies menu, right click, and create components from bodies. Now, you should have no bodies in your main thing. They should all be components. That's quite critical. So now, where does this go? This is going to go directly underneath our sort of winch drum here, about here. And then it's going to go to the ground. So I'm going to position it about there. And then I am going to go and do a join as built. Once you're happy with moving it into position. And I'm going to click this piece, and then change rigid to slider. And then click here, and we can see that slides up and down, like so. So this can go from here to here. Excellent. And making sure it doesn't touch there. All right, now finally, we need to do that weight. So I'm going to come into that sketch we had here, edit sketch, and I'm just going to project out the weight pieces, pole parts, sorry. So it's P for project, this one, and this one, just to make sure we finish off that square. And you can see that area gets done. We can finish sketch, come into the menu, unhide that, go revolve, capture position is fine. We're clicking just that little square there, axis, the same axis we had before, and then go OK. And now we're going to do join, but not join as but alt, just the regular joint. And we're going to click, oh, and I forgot to make that a component, didn't I? Body 2, create component from body. And now joint the center of here with that center of that there. And if they're upside down, we just hit flip, and we make sure motion is rigid. So there we go. There's our way. Slides up and down. If you would like, you can set up some, I'm just going to hide those sketches now because they're done. If you would like, we can set up some materials so we know what's what. So I'm going to come in and I'll right click on a component and I'm going to go physical material. Now I'm going to make our wooden pieces look wood. So I'm going to pick pine wood because I'm going to make a radiator pine. So make all of these ones look like pine wood. Whoops. Yeah. radiator pine there, radiator pine there, radiator pine there. And then I'm going to make our base out of a plywood. So I'm going to go plywood finished. Nope, that doesn't look very good. I might pick a different wood just so we know it's different. I'm going to go cherry. Cherry look cool. Yep, very nice. And then I'm going to make our 3D printed parts look out of a plastic. So I'm going to close the wood menu. I'm going to go plastic. And I'm going to 3D print this winch drum out of ABS plastic white. So that can be white. And then that can be white too. Wonderful. And then finally our last plastic piece, where's plastic, is the carrier holder thing. So I'm going to go acrylic clear just to make it look different, like that. No, that's too clear. Black resin. There we go. And then finally we've got our metal piece. So we're going to come into the metals. I'm going to find a steel, whereas a regular steel. There we go. And make that. Oh, that's kind of boring. How about we go, is there a polished steel? This one. No. Steel alloy. No. Steel, mild welded, plated. Let's go try plated in chrome. Very cool. Okay, there we go. There is my final design. If you would like to go really fancy with it, you might want to try cutting in some bolts. I'm going to give you a hint. There's insert fastener somewhere. Oh, you got to make sure you're online working on. Okay. If you're working online, there is insert fastener here, and you can try seeing if you can put some bolts in. You might want to try making this slotted like a V so that it's a little bit better, and maybe having a bearing insert there, and maybe some bearing inserts on this one. And the other thing you might want to try and do is make it so that if you revolve one, all three things move together. Anyway, good luck, guys. If you need any help, let me know.